Welcome to game number 1, everybody. Division S once again. Nothing left against Washed Up. Inferno Shrines is our first map, and yep, this is going to be a good one, or at least it's supposed to be. I mean, Nothing Left has been doing pretty well so far in the league. We actually have them with a 1-1 track record right now. They only lost one of their matches. They won amongst other teams actually against Team Russia. And guess who Washed Up lost to? Exactly, the Russians. So Washed Up also with a 1-1 track record currently in the standings as we're heading into the third game for both of the teams here. Inferno Shrines is our first map. We have a Zeratul currently banned, and already a bit of a piece of information here for you guys. There is currently a bug around Garrosh. I highly assume it's going to be hotfixed very, very quickly, but for at least this series and the next one today, maybe for all 4 this week, we'll keep you updated. That's going to be the case. Garrosh can throw around the dragon on Dragonshire, and he can also throw around things like the Protector, so not really the ideal scenario, and very likely the hero will be banned on those maps. If a team accidentally picks the hero, we're probably going to redraft. That's what we're looking at right now, just in case that those maps pop up later and you're asking yourself, hey, why exactly isn't Garrosh appearing here? Probably going to talk about that a bit when it happens. For now, as we're heading into the first one, we also have Mopsio actually playing today for Nothing Left. Just a little side note here as well. Washed Up, on the other hand, they're playing with a full lineup here. We're seeing Zeratul and Maiev, again banned as we so often do, and Hanzo also banned out at this point. Yeah, here comes the Jaina ban as well. She's getting banned a lot. And on this map, of course, the wave clear that she also brings to the table is pretty powerful. So a really good ban on that end too. No ban on Tyrande, as we sometimes see happen. Nuburak is oftentimes getting banned, is let through here now too. So let's see how the teams are actually reacting with this. I mean, Washed Up, again, they're having the first pick and the first ban here, so they can start things up. This is a map where when it comes to mages, could see again that Gul'dan later on. For now it's Jimmy. Jimmy to the rescue, the auto attacks, and usually it's your very own Hazops, aka Dennis Schneider, who's playing that hero for the team. But they can also shift it around. I mean, they've done so in the past already, so we'll see how exactly that works out today. There's the Tyrande pick, and together with that, do we have another... oh, Urel in an early rotation here, actually. I expected her to come in, if so, a bit later. It's actually interesting to me how little Urel is oftentimes picked here. Oftentimes what you see instead is that Leoric, for example, which is picked like a lot these days. Like a lot. Thrall is making it on the offline quite a bit. Arthas is being played quite frequently on Inferno Shrines too as an offlaner, simply because it gives you the added presence on the shrine than later on in the game. With that said, Nuburak and Malfurion are still claimed on the side of Washed Up this time. I'm not 100% certain how exactly the lineup for Nothing Left works here today. I mean, with Link not being here and Mopsio jumping in for him, the question is, of course, is Zadoon now playing the support? Is Mopsio going to play the main tank? Are they going to shift someone else around? They have to adjust somehow, and the question just is, how are they going to do that? Having Mopsio on the team, on the other hand, adds, of course, another big strength and another player with a lot of experience, not only in the game, but also in the draft to the lineup. I talked about Gul'dan a bit earlier, and Nothing Left, they actually agree in this sense. They're actually banning out Gul'dan right now, so that Mene can't play him. Which still leaves us with a couple of heroes that Mene could definitely lock down for himself here, but it takes 2 of his best options away for sure. For me personally, one of the questions that I have immediately upon seeing this is there a chance, now that Li Ming and Junkrat are both being picked, is there a chance that we might see Kel'Thas? Not a hero that you see a lot on the high level of play, too many weaknesses, often exploited, and other mages that are just simply better on a higher level in a coordinated gameplay, and if you have players that know what they're doing. But Kel'Thas on Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen is still an option that you can pull. There's others as well. But we'll find out right now. There we go. That's my boy. Kel'Thas is in play, and we have Mr. Swiffer also. Leoric and Nuburak, and there's the Kel'Thas pick. I like it. Now we still need, of course, a main tank. Could be Diablo here, considering that Mopsio's playing, and considering that they have Tyrande. It's Infernal Shrines, a lot of walls to stun out through. Could play a Johanna if you wanted to. There wasn't really a focus on tanks in any way, so there's a lot available right now, so no shortage of main tanks by any means. And there's Mal'Ganis, they go for the Dreadlord. Ladies and gentlemen, Infernal Shrines, we're heading into our first game of the series between Nothing Left and Washed Up here at Division S. Our first game starts on Infernal Shrines. This is a best of 5, of course. It is still Division S. And since a lot of people don't seem to be familiar with where they can look up the standings, heroeslounge.gg, also linked in the description, is giving you all the info that you need. Go through the top navigation and you can find out everything about Division S that your heart desires. For now on the left side, for Nothing Left, we're having Podyboss on URLs, Dune on Tyrande, DAB on Li Ming, the master himself, Mopsy on Mal'Ganis, and Blake Kidney on Junkrat. And on the right side of the map, Washed Up with Hazorps on Reyna, Smexy on Hyperion, JPL on Anuburak. We're seeing Mene on Kel'Thas and Eternal on Leoric. And in case that you're not quite familiar with it, Mene actually he started his Heroes of the Storm career pretty much with Kel'Thas. It was one of the heroes that he was the most familiar with. Mene came from World of Warcraft back then, and when he made his debut in Heroes of the Storm, that was back in the days when we still had... Oh, first of all, DAP is wrecking Anuburak here. Nicely done by Li Ming. But yeah, back in the days, we had Blackheart Space still in the map pool, and Mene played Kel'Thas just as he came out. It was roughly around the same time. And he absolutely murdered on the hero. And back then already, we talked a lot about how he's just absolutely demolishing opponents' teams, and it was his go-to hero at the time. He still likes to play Kel'Thas a lot. But as we said before, Kel'Thas isn't really the strongest heroes right now. Depending on what's picked and what's banned, he becomes an option on certain maps, but oftentimes you will go to other heroes instead just because they offer more. In the early game, one of the other heroes that Mene really likes to play, Li Ming, has already done solid work. We've seen DAB, of course, getting those sick resets in the past and doing just absolute wonders. And he's going to try and do that again today. And they are already invading. Nice! Good control over Mopsio here. That was nicely done by them. Making sure that they're not stacking any of those cooldowns. If they would actually have stacked the cooldown, use those abilities at the same time, Mopsio would have been able to invade. As it stands, that's not the case. So they all controlled Mopsio here and Mal'Ganis really, really nicely and pushed him back. But you can already tell that Nothing Left is playing really aggressive in this. I am very, very interesting to see how Mopsio works out now for the team, because he is still someone who had a really, really big impact for his team in HGC. And he definitely has a lot of the smarts that AD already brought to Heroes of the Storm inherited. As he always was happy to call out, AD Ardy was the guy that taught him Heroes of the Storm, taught him how rotations work, how to play the game, how to think about Heroes of the Storm, and opened up a whole new dimension of play for him personally. And he definitely translated that into his own personal touch, and the team is already pretty aggressive here at the start. With that said, talents we're still seeing for him: the Winged Guard on level 1, dealing with JP a little bit here in the mid lane. Outside of that, also having the Fueled by Torment, that in particular. See most of the time JPL actually like dancing around on the beetle a little bit with him. Camps are taken from both teams now towards the top lane, as the shrine spawns actually in the middle on the first rotation. Mene, of course, with a safe choice on level 1, going into the Mana Addict, needs that shield desperately for later. And is playing this very safe at the bot lane, as you can see here. Not even demounting for the entire time until he knows where people are positioned. So only demounts as he knows that there's a couple of heroes in the middle, as Leoric also sniffs out the top here, and he himself already sees the grenade on Junkrat. Vision and knowledge in this game is oftentimes everything. When can you attack? When can you move out on the lane? Don't go out there if you're not 100% certain you're safe. And this is actually a problem for Mopsio right now. He's trying to get away with the Fell Claws, but again, these perfect stacks of the ability cooldowns. We're starting things up with the stun, we're going into the root, we're going into the gravity labs, and Mal'Ganis is just absolutely locked into place for way too long. It was a great rotation from Mene. Mene just rotated middle, get the gravity labs through, bit of damage, moves down immediately, and is now defending the bot lane, trying to get the experience safely before he can join with the rest of the team again. Now, of course, that little setback here for nothing left didn't quite finish the game just yet. It's still only 3 minutes in, but it definitely gave them a lead on the stacks. They have now also started to translate in a bit of a better position at the bottom. Mane gets zoned out here for a second, but again, the gravity lapse is there, the damage too, but we're already seeing the attempt to go straight for the first Punisher here. 32 against 24 right now, and again, Mopsio in trouble, and he's very unlikely to get out of this one either. Down he goes. Eternal is still baiting a bit, and that kill is not worth it. That kill is definitely not worth it. Again, in the early game, what do you want to trade? Leoric. He's the one who will respawn quicker, he's the one who will respawn on lane, and just that lack of travel time is ideal. I mean, just look at the situation here. Eternal at the top lane is already spawning, losing nothing in experience, is already exactly where he needs to be, but obviously at that point, nothing left. He kind of realized, well, we're not gonna get this Punisher. Mopsio just died, so we don't have our tank anymore. Our opponent is sitting at 36, 37 minion stacks already. So they said, well, at least we're gonna get the experience for the kill. So that was more so the thought process than them trying to, them thinking they can get the kill and then still go the objective. Just to clarify that a little bit. Now with 15 stacks already on his level 1, Mana Addict is currently looking pretty good. We're having the entire wall, or well, part of the wall taken out. The Punisher itself put also some pressure onto the fort here. As you can see here, still the camps taken on both sides. And Urel hopping away. Now with level 7 talents, of course, we have a little bit of a bang coming in with the Celestial Attunement and also the Calamity. Outside of that, we're now seeing the Burned Flesh, which is going to make it really important for Mane to try and hit multiple heroes at the same time. And we're also seeing the Subterranean Shield with JPL is finally ready to also engage a little bit harder. Nicely done by Hazard, by the way. Dodging out on most of the damage. Level 7 talent with the Will of Tichondrius here too, so trying to just sustain yourself even more. That's where all the stuns are really going to come into play, making sure that that is not going to become a big problem. And I have to admit that Nothing Left is still doing a great job soaking the experience. I mean, if you just think about it, they hit level 10 a little bit quicker than their opponent. Not by a huge margin, don't get me wrong, but still enough to make a slight difference, and they were the ones losing out on the Protector. But they got their 2 kills, of course, as well. Dark Swarm, or Carrion Swarm, has been taken, so this time no conversion on our little bad boy here. And Mopsio, he has the mobility with the hero. The problem is really that so far Washed Up is pushing a lot of pressure onto him whenever he moves out there. Mane is now quite safe, 6 minutes and 40 seconds in completing the quest. It's pretty decent. Smexy still sitting here at the side, moon firing away, trying to make sure that he gets some vision of what's happening here. We still haven't seen a commitment from Jimmy. Hyperion is great on the map, but then again, so are the Raiders. Making sure that you can sniff around those bushes, position yourself nicely is always a nice tool to have. Doesn't really come as a surprise to see that it's integrate again on Liming. I mean, you see a Nubarak on the other side, you want to burn the Cocoon down, and it's always going to be a real positive trade for you in terms of cooldowns. So from that perspective, it doesn't really shock too much that we're seeing that talent now taken. Still Hazu waiting. And the next objective is, by the way, also spawning topside. So it's a pretty slow start into the series. Both of the teams with a couple of engages that we saw with a little bit of brawling happening and some nice moves. Especially, of course, that early kill against Mopsio that we saw in the middle when Mano rotated in for that gravity lapse. But overall, fairly even still. And nice damage here once again with that poke that is available to Nothing Left thanks to Junkrat. And also Liming. They're getting not only one tower, but they're also about to drop the gate itself. Nicely done. Bit of zoning down here at the bottom. Nice engage. Mopsio's there too, together with Urel on the other hand. And already the Cocoon being used. That's a cooldown burn, trying to keep Mane alive. Not quite sure if that was even needed, but JPL goes for the better safe than sorry play. Now that is a cooldown that they won't have available to them. So already a bit of a setback as they're trying to fight for Punisher number 2. Hyperion taken by Hazorps. Pretty good, obviously, on the shrines. Can control the zones here quite nicely. And talking about zone control, the wave clear is also in their hands, and they're already starting to use exactly that to try and get themselves a little bit farther ahead with this. But yeah, there's Potipos 2, 16 against 9 stacks now. Still the camp pushing through. Position anchored at the side, 18 seconds, 17 for the ult. The Nubarak doesn't have it yet. The Love Bug here needs to be a little bit more careful, or it's going to get the Love tap from Liming. And he already experienced that earlier. There's a 13 now too for Nothing Left, and Nothing Left is looking very good now. We still have them slightly behind, and they again make the play for a new Mopsio. And the Carrion Swarm gets him out of harm's way for the time being. Everybody else jumping in again, but cooldowns are getting burned now on both sides as we are seeing that battle for Protector, for Punisher number 2. 31 stacks now, backline, nice DAB with the damage, and Hazu is about to go down and actually falls. The reset for DAB as he gets away. Once again, we're seeing the laser show as Eternal falls, a nice disintegrate, followed by a second. It's a triple kill as they are taking everyone apart here. Mopsio is somehow still alive. The Bug barely able to tap the fountain, but the Arcane Punisher is now also taken by Nothing Left. It looked for the longest time as if Washed Up would be able to take it, but now another kill followed, staggered even compared to the rest, and we are seeing Nothing Left get a massive amount more momentum in this first game. Excellent performance here. Absolutely impeccable. On the line, absolutely true, no doubt about that. A lot of these things were exceptionally close, and Mopsio multiple times looked like he would be falling here. But at the end of the day, they walk away with 4 kills in total, and they're also able to grab the Punisher, despite the fact that Washed Up had a pretty significant lead on those stacks. And that helps them to catapult their experience even farther forward. So now we're seeing them with 1.5 levels lead. Pretty impressive. Just bodying that mid lane too. I mean, with all of those minions still being around to soak a couple of the additional shots, they're going for that. Eternal comes back in, gets the Entomb. That doesn't really look too good for him either. It's tickled a little bit by that disintegrate. The Riptire comes once again from Junkrat, trying to first of all cover the retreat, but also looking for the opportunity for a kill. And Liming has rotated to the bottom of the map and done a bit of damage there. The momentum swing is real. Momentum swing is absolutely real. Again, the attack. Urel moves in. Cocoon being used. Uh-oh, that doesn't look too pretty, but JPL is able to move away. Burn the cooldown though. Used it CD, and now we're having them with 16 against 14. Nothing Left is absolutely racking this. They're racking this. This is getting problematic for Washed Up. It was pretty much dead even up to that second shrine at the top, and then that fight just obliterated Washed Up. They were so close to getting kills, and I mean, to be fair, if they get the first one, they might be able to just like snowball it from there, but it doesn't happen. There was nothing left to keep the heroes alive. Now we have the second fort eliminated. The one in the middle is already about to fall too, so from a structural perspective, this is a disaster for Washed Up. And it's going to be tough to recover from that. What they need is another fight on even talents and winning it, because if they don't, then they're going to fall farther and farther behind from here on out. They need a little bit of momentum, and the best way to accomplish that is to win an objective. Take that with a few hero kills and then play it from there. And now we're having again another fort taken down. All 3 lanes are now pushing with the periodic catapults. Every third wave is now going to continue catapults at this point. Yeah, there we go. Well, I mean, let's see how they are going to play around the next objective. They should have 16. They should have 16 around the time that the next shrine spawns, and that's the important one. But you can already tell that they're trying to make a couple of plays here. Nothing left that is, because they know that too, obviously. Yep, and again, the attempt to go for the camp, and they take it away too. Really annoying for Washed Up. Just as they are about to take it, it gets stolen again. And they're trying to catch experience in the middle, they're trying to catch experience at the bottom. And as I said, they will have 16. They will have it. Question is, what can they do with it? Bot lane, that's where we are going to see the next shrine activate. And bot lane, there is no... I mean, on not the single lane, there's a fort or a fountain left anymore. So they are going to be at a slight disadvantage when it comes to position. Washed Up, that is. Simply because they don't have that fallback point. We're still in a spot where they can now, with their talents, maybe make the play. Especially, of course, since you have more survivability and control on the side of Reyna with the Paindem Rat. Top of that, also, we're seeing now Ignite. That's actually an important one for Shrine fights. We're having also Epicenter, another fantastic talent to be taken. And Royal Focus. There's a couple of real badass talents right now for Washed Up that they can use in this fight. They're already trying to set this up as we speak. Trying to make the play here. for the Shrine. And this is, as we said before, this is going to be a highly important one. Kidney on Junkrat firing from the outside. 16 to 10 stacks right now. Again, the sleep setup. But this time Li Ming not with a play. Here's the quick entomb though. Carrion Swarm already used. Mopsio needs to be careful. Stuns are not coming out yet. Again, the combo from the side. Mene getting hit full on by it. And they're making the play for Portiboss, who's forced into his ult. Portiboss with the ult, and they're actually moving away here. Healthus in particular has started to do solid damage with all those living bombs that he's currently pressuring out. It's all about positioning though. Mena still getting chased here, trying to get away. Hyperion is already zoning them too. 29 against 25 at this point. Reptile comes in, and Mopsio is keeping everybody busy, whereas the rest goes for Leoric and goes for the Shrine. And that's going to be another Punisher. They're going to take the Punisher. There it is. Mora Punisher secured by the blue team as Nothing Left takes that. And we see Washed Up moving out. And that's now more than 2 levels behind. Top lane is getting attacked too. And it seems like we're going to see that fort, at least for now, still be in place. But it is incredibly low already. And I'm not quite sure if the fort at the bot lane or the keep at the bot lane is going to be in a similar spot once this is over. Because that is a badass push that we're seeing there. Breaking through the wall already. Leo, he came, he saw, and he died. Veni Vidi PP. He came, he saw, and he peed his pants. Leo goes down, Eternal is dead again, and that keep is about to suffer the same fate. Leoric, of course, trying to come back. They're trying to defend also against the Punisher, but things are pretty grim right now. It's not only that you lost the keep, it's also that you are now 3 levels behind pretty much, and the 20 talents, they're of course making all of this a lot worse than it was already. And it was already bad in the first place. Tal Rushers for the extra rotational here. We're seeing the Seeker Swarm as well, and they are just going through the top lane to drop this one out too. And they got a poke. They got the poke that they need for this. There's another mid lane pressure play. JPL is eating as many of those grenades as he can. He's playing Bruno Mars over here, eating one grenade after another for that keep. And does it well. Gotta catch them all. It's like playing Pokemon. See a grenade, you jump straight on top of it. So once more, here comes a poke from above. Trying to get that, but right now it seems like it's going to be a little bit more tricky than they thought. Malfurion is healing an Uberok whenever he can. And yep, there's the next grenade. Oh, he missed one. JPL. He missed one there. It's a full-on siege. I mean, the pressure is real at this point. The pressure is absolutely fantastic. There's just hit after hit coming. The problem is you venture out a little bit too far and your opponent is immediately going to pounce on you and try and punish you for that. So yeah, they're getting a bit more damage in, but they're still trying to control the camps here. So we see them fall back just slightly. Just by the smallest of margin to make sure that they have a chance of getting that camp. And then starting to move in from the side again. Leo already having a quick look. Kel'Thur's busy at the mid and the bot lane, saying like, boys, I got this, I got the experience here. But yeah, this one should be doomed now, especially with the Shaman camp now pushing in too. Just look at the AB at the side here. And another keep is down, and this is bad news for Washed Up. Oh yeah, oh daddy, this is bad news for sure. More than an entire level behind still, and we should see that Shrine announced it just a bit. And guess where that Shrine spawns? It's top side. Means if they get that Punisher, it's going to walk straight towards that core. It's already about the mercenary camps here for Kidney as he rotates towards the bottom of the map. Disintegrate, again used by the AB up at the top, just bursting this through. I mean, why not? You have a super shot cooldown. You can throw that out whenever you want to. There's no problem with that whatsoever. At bottom of the map, we're seeing in the meantime just everybody else sitting tight, waiting for the experience to come in. And to be fair, I mean, they might get the next fight on level 20. Half a minute to soak half a level. That's definitely possible. Obviously, Nothing Left also knows that they have to just simply sit on these camps or on those waves to make sure that eventually they're going to get that fight. Look at Nuborg in the mid lane, for example. Also mounted, but still in the vicinity. Trying to catch as much as he can. And down to the bottom of the map, yep. There's Smexy, and the stun hits, and he should be dead. Smexy, the Riptire, takes him down. Malfurion, the one to anchor the play here, didn't expect the angle. He thought if they would come from the bottom, and he could walk away just dropping the root. Well, he was quickly taught otherwise. Now we have Li Ming already on the Shrine. So at this point, DAB is just doing his thing again. Junkrat is coming in too. Level 20 talents are finally there. The problem is, what does level 20 do for you when you don't have your support? Yeah, I mean, Flamethrower, buried alive. The question is, how do you play around this now? Look at the minimap. Double camp pushing through the middle with catapults. Camp at the bottom too. They're taking the 4 versus 5 at the top. They feel they have to. I don't even blame them for it, because once that Punisher is taken, it's pretty much lights out if you don't get a kill. Bot lane is getting pressure too. There's a double catapult coming with that camp. They're just getting pressure on every single lane. If the pressure was any more intense, Washed Up would turn into diamonds at this point. Girl's best friend. Can tell you, not a girl's best friend. That's the Arcane Punisher. Yes, he has some very pretty purple thingies that he puts on the floor, but those thingies hurt a lot. And that bad boy is going to do a lot of damage right now. I mean, those shields have already starting to take damage. Now we're starting to see them move through the middle. If not for a quick kill, I think this might be game number 1 for nothing left. They're doing great here right now. They're jumping in again as the Punisher's making his way over. They're trying to push the baited also into the middle. Here comes a follow-up attempt. JPL moves away. This is still the zone now. They're forcing the fight behind it. They're actually going for the kill, and they go for Blink Kidney, and they get it. Blink Kidney is down. That might be all that Washed Up needed to save the game for now. Smexy, on the other hand, is low too, and Urel jumps in and gets the kill. 1-for-1 trade, but Tyrande falls shortly after. Leo suffers the same fate. The core, on the other hand, still more or less untouched, because that Punisher got baited into the middle again, but still the shields have fallen, and that Punisher is still on 50% health as 3 catapults are starting to make their way into the fight to 50%, 40, 30, goes down to 20, and this should be game, and it is game, as Nothing Left takes the first victory in the best of 5 series. GG, and well played. Game number 2, we are on Volskaya, and you might remember that I talked about the Garrosh bug a little bit earlier, and both of the teams said, well, we're actually fine with it. So the admin said, well, if you're fine with it, then there's no problem, so go ahead. So Garrosh is officially allowed, and you can also throw the Protector if you really want. Don't really think that is going to be a game-deciding thing necessarily. I mean, where are you gonna throw it? First of all, you don't usually want to get close enough to that bad boy anyways. But if you throw that guy over the wall, he's just gonna say thank you and gonna destroy that structure anyways. So we'll see if that actually gets used or not. Just if it actually happens, if we see Garrosh picked and all of a sudden he throws the Protector around, you've been warned, you know what's happening. So, yeah. With that said, Volskaya is our second map, so Nothing Left currently in the lead in the series, playing a fantastic first one. And also there were questions earlier, where's Linked? Why is Linked not here? Is Link being kicked? What's going on? And no drama, guys. The sub-rules for Division S are a little bit more loose. There's the Garrosh ban, so that problem has already been immediately put off the board. But yeah, so Linked actually just has a private thing today. Nothing else. So therefore, Mopsio is swapping in. And so far it's actually working out. I mean, so far it's working out really well for them. Mopsio obviously a very experienced player and a strong one at the front line. Can also shot call for the team if it's needed. Blikidne is usually doing a lot of that work and has been doing that in the past too. The traditional bans here on the side of Washed Up with Maiev and Zeratul both taken out. And we have Hanzo banned again. Alright, that brings us into first pick, and we are straight up looking for Washed Up again. Also, I want to quickly point out that this is Volskaya. There is a chance that we're actually going to see Rexa again. Just saying. Rexa has been played a lot lately. Nothing Left was one of the teams that played him quite a bit, so there is a chance that happens once more. There's the Jaina pick. Super early. Main is not taking any risks, saying like, you know, no, guys. Like, I want my girl. I want my Jaina right away. I'm not going to take any risks here. This is how we're going to play that. So with our first rotation coming in for Nothing Left, could see now Tyrande. If you don't pick her here, then she's probably going to be picked up by Washed Up, and then you might be in a problematic spot here. So what exactly are we going to have from these guys? There it is. Tyrande is being picked, and Li Ming. DAB again for the damage output here. Going to try and make the plays. On the other side, though, you have a Nuburak still available if you want to play him. Could, of course, also try and play around Diablo again. Actually, Tyrael is another great pick that we can have on the map. We've seen it quite a lot recently. But yeah, with a Nubarak would still fit. You could still play Malfurion with a Nubarak. You can play Ana here, obviously, too, if you want her together with Jaina. There's Urel already for Eternal. And Stitches, the JPL special. Look at that. Now the big question, what do you ban out? I would have said normally, hey, ban Ana. Play the banana strategy. But, yeah, I was about to say, with Stitches in, all of a sudden that equation changes quite drastically. It's more about that lockdown on those routes, and that's where we are seeing Malfurion coming in. Okay. So Stitches, Urel. And very likely Ana are going to be chosen here for them. At least that would be a good one. Okay. What's the ban on the other side? Could ban out the front line. Could ban out one of the tanks. Maybe a Nubarak, to be honest with you. With Tyrande already on the board and Liming in the mix as well. A Nubarak might be a decent ban. Yep, that's exactly what happens here. So Noob banned out. Which brings us to the double pick. For nothing left. Jojo could be played here. You want to have anything that is really sustainable on the shrine itself, and that could be Diablo if you really want to have that high hit point pool, if you're not afraid of those Stitches hooks, for example. It could be Johanna, she can dodge out on it too, has the Iron Skin. And there's first of all Rexa. So as already mentioned earlier, it is Volskaya Foundry. Rexa still a good pick here. We get Junkrat together with that. And it's a pretty reminiscent build or team composition of what we've seen in game number 1, at least when it comes to the damage department. Still the poke on both sides with Blikidne and DAB. And yeah, Zedun also on Tyrande. Switching out the offlaner. Not too much, but yeah. Seems familiar. There's Alarak. Ooh, okay. So now we have Ana in for Smexy. That was expected after the Malfurion ban. But we have Alarak also chosen. That definitely switches the dynamic slightly. Nothing left then again. They still need their frontliner. They still need the hero for Mopsio. And let's see what Mopsio actually decides to go for as his main tank here. Now, against Stitches, again, I personally thought, well, maybe a Johanna here. You have the Iron Skin available, you can move out there. But ETC has, of course, the pushback too. That works, and it also has the synergy with Tyrande, where he can go into a power slide and set it up for Tyrande's stun. So we're going into game number 1, as nothing left is trying to get the 2-0 lead over Washed Up here at Heroes Lounge Division S. Game number 2, as we are heading into Volskaya Foundry. We have Poryboss on Rexa. We're seeing Mopsio on ETC, Liming on DAB, the other way around, DAB on Liming. Blikidne on Junkrat, and Zedun on Tyrande. Didn't want to go sexual here all of a sudden. On the right side of the map, we have Washed Up with JPL on Stitches, Smexy on Ana, Min on Alarak, Hazorbs on Jaina, and Eternal on Urel. Min Alarak is what we're going to see here. So, with that, we're having currently still a little brawl set up for the middle, and a good hook into Alarak combo is always devastating. And JPL once again has to prove he's just still the best Stitches right out there. Has of course also to make sure it doesn't necessarily always just hit Misha. You want to get a little bit more value than that, but just the threat of the hook is always a nuisance. Already Blikidne, I mean, every single time you throw grenades over, you pretty much signal to Stitches where exactly you are. That might not really play a role just now, but once that we're heading into level 16 with the fishing hook, it's a little bit of a different story. So now we're having at the top lane still the wave pushed out. Talons, we're seeing the patchwork creation on level 1. I gotta admit that ever since I've seen Stork at Meta Madness just rock those globes with his Hungry for More, I am really a big fan of that particular sorry what I'm calling it. No, of that particular talent and that massive hit point pool that you can get towards the later stages of the game here. Well, we'll see. Down to the bottom of the map, we're still having Poryboss here on Rexa, trying to rock that bot lane against Urel. Both of the teams obviously diving straight into those turrets and taking the item. Whereas we still see up to the top Mena playing it solo on that lane and trying to get the experience here for himself. Maybe push it out a little bit quicker, deny some points to the opponent. Unlikely to happen, but always something that you can try and pull off here in the earlier stages of the game. So, the one thing that we still have to watch out for is, of course, how Mena is going to play this on. I mean, Alarak in general is always one of those heroes that can have a massive impact in these games. Rich has already proven that multiple times, but if Alarak is able to get the value on those shrine fights, that would be the dream. And already talking value, I mean, they're going in and dropping the bear. So Misha gets dropped. It was a pretty grisly situation for her, since all of a sudden she was surrounded by 3-4 heroes, and yeah, you just don't stand a chance. Was trying to move out, but it was impossible. So at the bottom of the map, we're having currently Eternal still trying to escape as well, because he gets attacked. But Misha isn't quite in a position where she can get the stun in. That could have been the end of Urel, but it's not quite there yet. Camps are still taken. It's a little bit of a respectful early game. Not a single kill yet. Very few brawls that we saw here. They're mostly just trying to get the experience, rotate around for that. We don't even have the fight for the healing beacon at this point. So I'm not making any plays over here. Just completely happy, relying on a single turret and waiting for the objective itself. And that goes for both of them. So now with the first one up, this is going to be the bigger question. If you're going up against Alarak, obviously that choke point can be a pretty big problem. If you go in there, you're pretty much telling Alarak, hey, would you like to have a little bit of a setup here? Talking setups. JPL nudging Mobsio a little bit. Like that. Knew he couldn't really do anything, but okay. He was kind of trying to pull it off. JPL is still sitting at the corner, and they're getting the first few stacks in. But yeah, very little brawls happening. Very little opportunities for Mena to get anything in terms of stack just because of that too. Or any big setup. But it's just the patience again that Nothing Left currently has. They're starting to invade the shrine again with Misha. Oh, but she walks straight into that hook. That's unfortunate. Still able to survive though, which is the important part. But now that the top lane has been deep pushed, we're seeing Jaina join the fun here in the middle as well. And down to the bottom of the map, Urel is still trying to hold on to that spot too. It's insane how careful these guys actually are at this point. You see normally a lot more commitments, a lot more YOLO from both of them. There's the setup against Mobsio right now. Also another item gets already taken here on the right side. Mobsio on the other hand is there, and Smexy isn't anymore. Gets absolutely deleted. Mena 417 immediately getting the combo through here. But yeah, that was really, really well done. From Alarak first of all, using the opportunity here, but then also from Nothing Left as they rotate in and just simply steal that away. So that was actually nicely played. Getting that kill against Smexy was absolutely crucial for them in that situation. Now that Anna is starting to make her comeback into this, we're actually seeing once again if they can make a play there and turn this around, because so far it looks like we're going to see the first objective taken by Nothing Left. Still a slightly inexperienced for them. Turret is on the ground. They have two more. Item advantage goes to the blue team for sure. And here comes the hook again, but it misses out. Another big combo from Mena. The XXL play is right there. But the problem is it's not gonna be enough. Protector number 1 is on the ground. And with that, we're having, of course, the potential for damage here. Mena, nicely done. Moves out of harm's way just before that shot hits. 12 stacks now on the level 4 for him. But this is still a bit of a bad spot, because you're so close to level 10 too, which makes things even worse. Mena actually got out again. And the Protector is moving to the bot lane. What? A little bit of a different setup than we're used to. Gets the kill against Urel. That's a big one. But that's not the normal rotation that you see. Usually when we're talking about the Protector, it's all about prepping the top lane. Actually having a bit of a chance taken here by them. Mena and Mena is still top side. The bottom fort is down. I mean, you get the bottom fort if you want it there, but you can't prep for the first Protector. So apparently they just don't feel the value of taking that fountain down. They're even trying to do a little bit more damage in the middle. And they will get the second fountain here as well, but they won't be able to get that fort. Or at least they shouldn't. They have level 10, which gives them definitely a bit of an advantage, but it's just not enough to make any plays outside of that. So they've been able to take the fort. That also prepped objective number 3, but it makes it, I wouldn't really say a little bit harder for them to get objective number 2. I mean, it kind of does, but at the end of the day, it just like equalizes the situation again. Now we're actually having them move in completely. Another big attempt here to get with a blind hook, maybe a target hooked over right into Mane in his combo. That didn't quite work out. Smacks in the back line, trying to get the heals in. Urel went a little bit deep for this one, has to pop the ult here too. That's gonna try and move away. Mopsio gets absolutely isolated, but can they get the kill? Riptire is there, and Mopsio is actually getting out. Nope. Urel with both hooves straight onto the face, takes it down, the hook connects, and that's the end of Tyrande. Nicely done, washed up again with the plays here. Mena also, as you could have seen, with a deadly charge, and they're going straight. Ooh, DAB actually got also pushed pretty low here by that little setup that we had. 20 stacks by now for Mena on the 4. Yep, they get the healing beacon, or they're about to. Keep in mind that Rexa went into the animal husbandry again and hasn't died since then so far. Just give you a bit of a heads up. Up to the top left, you can currently see the hit points on that bad boy. We're going to keep our eye on that too. Not quite in Stitch's Hungry for More territory, where we've seen Stork reach as much as 9,000 plus hit points. But right now, item control, it's everything. This is really what you're looking for. And they're already going for it straight away. I mean, eventually you really want to make sure that you're also taking down Rexa, just so that in the late game he's not going to become this absolute monster. But for the time being, it's still fine. Animal husbandry is, of course, going to start doing a bit of work. And I mean, if you look at it, you get 2 health points every second, which means that per minute you get 120. So it takes quite some time for you to get actual sick value out of the talent. But if you hold that for like 10 minutes in a long game, those 1,200 hit points are actually pretty impactful. You can really decide if you're making it in the fight or if you're going to fall. But since we are going to expect a lot of big brawls, especially around that second protector at the top, there's definitely a chance to take Rexa down too. So with that, we're now having another attempt here to set up. Mane himself actually might be in a little bit of trouble. DAB goes in and tries to make the play with the force of will. That didn't quite work out. The hook, on the other hand, worked out really well, and Mopsio is currently still on cooldown, and that's the deadly charge. And the kill as Mopsio is down. That was actually nicely done here. They knew that the power slide wasn't cooldown. They knew exactly. So with that, it's currently pretty solid from the position of washed up when it comes to objective number 2. They're still seeing Urel at the bot lane, so they have to rotate her up as soon as Blakitne is starting to make the rotation too. As long as he doesn't make a move. Eternal doesn't have to either. But obviously they're waiting for ETC to come back. And Mopsio still has that mosh pit. So you need to keep that mosh pit in mind. Smexy is slowly starting to move in here, trying to go for another quick dart. That doesn't connect. We're seeing now the fight towards the top. And now it's starting to become a little bit more... starting to become a little bit more contested as we're having Mopsio back to business. And Urel is now also making her way back onto the top lane to really help out with the fight. You don't want to fight a 4 versus 5 there the entire time. But with both of the teams now on level 13 talents, we're still seeing Alarak sitting there at the side too, waiting for the deadly charge to come in. Putrid Bile is now off cooldown again as well. And Eternal is waiting also in the corner to try and see if he can maybe get access to one of the heroes, jump in and push them farther into the setup and his teammates. Misha there, they're trying to go for the kill. Can't really make that happen. JBL, get back in here. Puts Misha back in. Mena is zoned out slightly since Mopsio is now trying to come in from the flank, and actually ETC is maybe able to get JPL down. There's the Riptire. They keep him alive for a little bit longer, and that's a double kill. Junkrat down, and so is Stitcher. So a 1-4-1 trade that we have, as we have Eternal going for an early ult here actually. Having quite a bit of the damage here, but popped that maybe a little bit too soon. Expected more aggression out of the hands of his opponent. There's the deadly charge for Mane. Good damage from him. Gets the pressure out. Is able to get a few more stacks and the damage output too. Eternal though gets bodied as the bear goes in and takes him down. Nice damage again for Mane. 26 stacks right now on the level 4. There's the mosh pit and the kill against Ana. Hazor Bobs himself also very much so being attacked here. Ice blocks himself for just a moment, but still falling eventually. Just no escape here. We're seeing Mane with an attempted kill actually against ETC, but that didn't quite work out. 27 stacks now for Mane. 19 stacks, by the way, on the level 1, trying to get with a prog rock Also the additional heals out, and he's one single globe away from doing exactly that. Now when it comes to the damage output, to give you a bit of an idea, 27,000 currently on Mena, topping the numbers in the game, by the way, not only on his team. Currently the highest damage dealer in the entire game. And there's the setup again. No power slay this time. There he goes. A little bit late maybe. And straight into the hands of the Rastia 2. Mena trying to get away. Is he able to get maybe a bit of a combo? No, and should fall, but stays alive for a lot longer than expected. It gets a bit of damage out. It's just not enough to make a difference. With level 16 talents on both sides right now. We're having also Smexy in the corner and dead again. The immobility of Ana being a problem. Now Eternal gets dropped too and falls as we have Urel killed. JPL is nipping on the heels of Blake Kidney. Junkrat nearly gets hooked in, but even with a fishing hook, just not able to get the distance there. 9 kills against 4. Nothing Left is really starting to play a fantastic series here. Initially it really looked like, well, Washed Up might be able around objective number 2 to turn things around, but so far we're seeing very little of that. We're having now 4,800 hit points on Raxa as well, as you can see there. So his animal husbandry is definitely working out for him. Keeping himself alive thanks to the feigned death a bit earlier in that setup. But it is starting to become a bit problematic here for Washed Up. Keep in mind, Washed Up is the team that won the Nut Cup. They were the first team to qualify for Division S, and they've been absolutely bodying opponents pretty much ever since. It's just, I would say, in the last week or maybe 10 days where all of a sudden they started to be... They showed some signs of weakness. Meta Madness wasn't quite the full lineup for them, so you can't really fault them there. It was 3 sub players that they played with, but now that they're back to full force again and having their entire lineup ready, it's a bit weird to actually see them struggle this hard. But then again, Nothing Left is by no means a bad team. These guys have been doing exceptionally well. They reached the grand final of Meta Madness through the winner bracket for a reason. Now on the other hand, it looks like they will get a lot more than that. They're currently 1-1 when it comes to Division S, but this could be their second victory if they get another win there and take it from that to the next one. Alarak, though, with a kill. Great job by Mena once again, but in the meantime, the Protector takes down Jaina. Stitches is on the run. Let's lock down and gets taken apart. Nicely done here. Again with a kill. The 2-for-1, 2 levels behind. That's the bigger problem. Can you close that gap for the next objective? Is that possible? 39,000 damage on Mena. He is going for the hard carry here. The big boy pants are definitely on. The problem is, are they big enough to carry the rest of the team at this point? They need a little bit more synergy. They need a little bit more plays here together. Maybe a good combo for Mena again into the damage output from Hazo Ops. Is what they could definitely use here. On the other side, we're currently seeing, obviously, Li Ming carrying the fight with all the damage that we see pushed through from DAB. As usual, he capitalizes on the resets. And DAB, I mean, he has been a monster for a long time, but especially in the post-HGC era, that guy has still not really let up. So, yeah, they are looking great here. And at this point, for Washed Up, it's pretty much you're playing the sandbag strategy. You're just sitting there, you're taking the punches as they come, and you're waiting for the experience to come to you, aka the lanes pushing out. It's the only thing that you really can do. Outside of that, there's very little. It's all about just getting the XP that really matters to you. Get level 20. That's the big one. Can you make that? Yes or no? That's the only question here. 38 stacks by now, level 4 for Mena. Just a little bit of a side note here. 41 actually for him right now. He is getting the numbers. He definitely is. Well, of course, you have to keep in mind that a lot of this is also going to be against Misha. They need an entire level. One more level. And Urel is actually far out at the bot lane. It's always a little bit tricky if you're this far out and you don't have vision of your opponent's team anymore. There could be a gank coming your way, which is the reason why Eternal is currently piggybacking back home. Up to the top, we're still having another healing beacon taken. Item control. You have the map, take the items. Take every single item that you can. And we have 2 healing beacons and 2 turrets right now for Nothing Left. Can't ask for much more than that. Look over to the hit points on Raxa, by the way, 5,700. Just to give you a bit of an idea, Stitches himself is at 6,400. Also 1 level down is a bit of a stats advantage. But you can still see how close the two are because, well, let's face it, one is a main tank, the other one is now also played as an offlaner. If we're taking an offlaner, Mena is currently sitting at 4,000 hit points on Ararak. Just so you get a bit of an idea about the hit point pools that we're talking here.
ETC, for example, is sitting at 5,100, meaning that just from a hit point perspective, Rexa has by now taken over the main tank role in this game, nearly sitting at 6k HP right now. It's a tiny sliver of experience that's needed. They should be able to force another fight, but it's going to be the last one that Washed Up gets. They're in a similar spot as they were on Infernal Shrines. They are behind by quite a bit. So, well, let's have a quick look how this is going to work out here. Again, there's the 20s. They have it now. Mena with a hasty bargain at this point. We have a quick look also at the damage again. Mena at 46,000 on Alarak. Pretty strong with that. And we're already having the move back down to the bot lane, trying to grab this one. This is the one. This is the fight. This is the one that you have been waiting for. They're pushing the lane now. They're taking the catapult down. The poke is coming from the bottom as nothing left is trying to push that through. And the first items are already in. They still have a fallback option. Their hooks just don't come in this time. The hooks are starting to not be as reliable as they were in the past. And JPL is just not delivering them as they need them right now. They need the money hook. And though so far they haven't found it. Here's the Riptide again. That was a good hook. DAB. They can't put the damage in. That was definitely a good setup. Oh my god, barely able to get out the ult. Mena is trying to get the kill, but a great feint death that we're seeing here. The plays are still real. Mena is still making the play here, but the mosh pit comes through, and Mopsio dies, but he's not the only one. Stitches is down, Eternal. They kill Rexa, and they reset the animal husbandry, and they get to round the 2. Nicely done. Nicely done. It looked dicey. It looked difficult. It looked like they might all fall as the mosh pit hits too. But Smexy with the interrupt and then Urel just hopping around once again. Hoofs first, starting to take them down. Hazops in the meantime is at the top. A Junkrat has already rotated in, trying of course now to get those kills too. Trying to get that keep. They're trying to get even more damage. And we have Alarak starting to sneak in from the side. They want to play the deadly charge. And it is, well, not so deadly just yet, but they go for Li Ming, the water element leaving, and there we go. The hasty bargain and the kill, the staggered death of Li Ming. Blick Kidney at least gets away, but Mena is just murdering peeps at this point. Right now, 63,000 damage on Alarak as he Alaraks nothing left. And that's a protector. That's a protector right now. Eternal is still very much alone. He's like, boys, I got something here. Can we get a little bit of help? So they're trying to get the work done at the bottom lane. Obviously, they still need to try and at least get some value here. They haven't really gotten a whole lot. We have Alarak pushing out the top lane as Mena is starting his own rotation down to the bottom of the map. You need to get a couple of structures here. I mean, either you are going to make the play and, yeah, try and go for the keep, or you're just trying to take a couple of additional forts. I'm pretty sure that you're also hearing the sound in the backline. It seems like the apartment next to me is getting work done. Someone is apparently trying to drill a hole through the wall. At least that's what it sounds like to me. I hope it's a little bit more easy on the ears for you guys. They're level 22 for both of them. 9 against 12 right now in kills. And again, the hook attempts here. And they're going for the keep. They're going for the keep, and they might be able to try and go for more here, to be honest with you. If they get a kill or two at this point, with 40 seconds left, there's definitely a chance, and they're going for Mopsio already, but they can't lock him down, and I don't think that is going to be enough damage for now. I think they will still have to fight for objective number 4, unless that hook hits. Unless JPL gets a hook in, and he is going to try again the play for the bear. Oh, and at least they get Misha. So they at least get that kill. But now they can maybe make the play for the core. 20 seconds until Misha is back. Here's Mopsio. Nah, it's too late. 5%, 9 seconds. But they have to make sure that they're at least able to get away here. The top lane is another big concern. With them staying this long, they actually are likely to lose the top keep if they don't portal back right now. 53 stacks still for Mena. 68,000 damage for him. Topping the charts easily right now. And, with that, we're also seeing, of course, now that we are having... Ooh, was that? Yeah, the kidney with the Riptire kill against the keep. Went to the top, used the Riptire, and took the keep down. That was the important one here. Burned the cooldown for it, said like, nope, that's fine, let's go and do that. Just make sure that we have the pressure. Because now when the next objective spawns here in the middle, we have 2 lanes pushing. Actually, we have 1 lane pushing really aggressively for nothing left, and that's the top lane. The bot lane, obviously, at this point, with both teams losing the keeps, pretty much at an equilibrium for now. It's a lot more of an interesting game than I thought, though. When we had them at the 3rd objective, I really thought that nothing left would easily take that. Especially after the first cooldowns got exchanged and we still had that massive item advantage plus the fountain for nothing left. It really looked like that would be it. I mean, they had 4 items. They had 2 healing beacons and 2 turrets, and they had the fountain. That is a pretty big advantage to have. DAB on his striker leaning, he needs to be a bit careful, of course, too. But as he's trying to rock the Mila Superstar here, we are still having him dance around and JPL looking for that hook, so you have to be careful. You have to at least have your hotkey ready so you can teleport away whenever Stitch's hook is coming out. And of course, another hotspot right there. And they're going for it. Oh, that's a dicey one for both teams. On the one hand, you have Mane with Alarak. On the other hand, you have a mosh pit against you. Yeah, that could go both ways. We need the interrupts for sure. And they go again. Nice survivability, by the way, for JPL through his 20. Haven't talked about it yet. But here comes the zone control once again. Misha down. Potipos follows. And the mosh pit gets interrupted by the hook. And that's the end of Mopsio. It might be the end of the game. Li Ming is down. Smexy is alive. And they are trying to get even more kills. And that's the Dune down. Once more, Urel just hopping around as Eternal gets kill after kill after kill for his team. Smexy sitting here and is saying, "Alright guys, come in. I need the grenade. I need some HP myself." And now they're making the way down to the bottom of the map. Washed Up is back in this series. This should be an easy core for them. Fantastic setup once again. And yep, they've been murdering it here. Nice comeback. Definitely a 6.5 out of 10 moment that we just saw on Volskaya Foundry. Junkrat gets taken down too as we have Washed Up cleaning house, dropping the core and putting their first point onto the scoreboard. Tying the series here in the best of 5 as we are going to head into game number 3. GG and well played on Volskaya Foundry. Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Towers of Boom once again. Pretty sick comeback on the last one. Volskaya was actually really solid. Honestly, I was surprised. Going into Volskaya, it was something that I didn't really expect. After the second Protector got also won by nothing left, it looked like it would snowball from there, especially after the keep at the bottom right went down. But then the comeback with Washed Up and Mane in particular, damn. He ended the game with 80,000 damage on Alarak, and Li Ming was sitting around 55, 60, something along those lines. So pretty insane damage output for Mane, and a couple of really cool plays that he had in those fights too. The hooks at the end, there were a couple that definitely came through, especially interrupting the mosh pit around the fight for the healing beacon was of course hugely important for them. But yep, we're now also having Hanzo banned out again. Should be a Zeratul ban at this point. I mean, they have been very consistent with the Maiev and Zeratul ban, unless they are all of a sudden willing to let that go. Could be happening, of course, too. So, let's see. They're hesitating a lot more than usual, so we might actually see Zeratul making it into the game. What do they want to ban out? I really want to know what they were thinking about. What is the hero that they feel, okay, this is so impactful right now that we consider letting Zeratul into the game? I don't really believe that it's Tyrande with that setup. I mean, it might be, but yeah, I would have liked what their thought process was here. But yeah, Zeratul gets banned out as the usual. I mean, that's normally what we're seeing. Jaina is open. Usually you don't want to give her over to Tyrande. Then again, you can also think about Anubarak, picking maybe Jaina Anubarak at this point. There's a couple of other great picks. We've seen them. Okay, there comes Garrosh. And Jaina. Alright, take the Jaina away from the Tyrande composition. They pick Garrosh with that too. And let's have a look of what the setup is for nothing left. Are we going to see, for example, that Anubarak here? Is it something that Mopsio says, okay, we're going to play this? Keep in mind that they're playing with a sub today. Mopsio is coming in because Linked didn't have time to play today. Had a previous engagement there. Oh, DAB with this Tracer. Nice. They finally play the Tracer here with Boss on Tacita. Okay, me likey. Tracer plays from DAB. That means for Mena, or whoever plays Jaina, again, there's a chance that Hazops plays it. Normally it's Mena, but depending on the rest of the lineup, there is a chance for rotation. You need the Ice Block. You need the damage out. You need to get the damage out, get the baseline completed as quickly as you can, and then make sure that you have the Ice Block so you can Ice Block the Tracer Bomb. So they go straight into the setup here. The Tracer Mal'Ganis gets banned out, no setup through the sleep. What do you ban on the other side? Jimmy, Hammer. Those are two of the auto attackers that are oftentimes banned out when Tracer is being played, and that can be really annoying and pesky here. But they ban the Haka. They leave Urel open, so Urel can still be picked by Washed Up, and that's a hero that Eternal plays a lot. Leo is also open, both of them are available, but they don't want to deal with the global. They don't want to deal with that tool where you can just simply macro your way around Tracer. And obviously the Haka can also dodge the Tracer ult when he just uses his burrow. There's another big tool on his part. But is Eternal therefore going back onto Urel? I would assume so. Yeah, he does. And there's Hammer. Again, I expected Hammer or at least Reyna to be banned out. One of the two. Neither one has been. And now we have Hazu on Sergeant Hammer. It's Hammer time! With Junkrat in play again. That means no melee hero outside of the main tank. Alright, so Junkrat most likely top lane solo at the beginning of the game. Makes it a bit harder for Sergeant Hammer, but of course it comes at a cost too. A lot less sustain in those fights. And talking fights, there's an Uberak. I'm not so sure about that comp. That is a really, really squishy comp. It is aggressive. If you can carry that, it's great, but if you just... like, if there's a crack in the defense at any point, a crack in the armor just for a moment, you're dead. That is a really squishy setup. A Nubarak, the only frontliner, granted double support, but the Tacita shield normally goes on to Tracer, so a little bit dicey. Smexy still believes in Ana, even with Tracer on the board. So guys, let's head in. Game number 3, Towers of Doom, nothing left, going up against Washed Up.
Game number 3, everybody. We are heading into our third game of the best of 5. Who takes the lead? On the left, nothing left with Boss on Tacita, Blakidney on Junkrat, Mopsio on Anubarak. We're seeing DAB on Tracer and Zadoon on Tyrande. And on the right side of the map, JPL for Washed Up on Garrosh, Main on Jaina, Smexy on Ana, Eternal on Urel, and Hazops on Sergeant Hammer. It is a really squishy setup that we're having for nothing left. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we don't have a second melee hero from them. It's a very, very squishy but also aggressive lineup. So if you never really take a fight up to the point when you're really sure that you can get the kill, or when you dive in with a Nubarak, Tyrande follows it up and you dive in with DAB, and I think you're having a shot there. But without a second melee, it's always dangerous. The damage is there. No doubt about that. They have the damage. They have the wave clear. Do they have the sustain though? That's the question. With Anubarak being the only tank, the engage has to happen only around him. Eternal already gets attacked up here at the top. A bit of a hit, a little bit of a dodge, and is still fine. It's actually not quite the setup that I expected. I expected Junkrat to solo lane. We have seen Junkrat solo lane in the past, but I believe one of the main reasons why they actually picked Junkrat, I shouldn't probably say main reasons, there's a little more to it than that, but one of the reasons why Junkrat became even more attractive than before is that you have an easier time controlling Hammer with Junkrat if you have him in that lineup. So this is why we have a bit of a different setup at the top now, which of course also means that DAB doesn't have quite as much freedom on the map as he usually would like to have with Tracer. The invader at the bottom is a result out of that particular setup here, and they're trying to get those kills in. But now the rotations are ready, and it's a 5 versus 4, and they have to let it go. Which means that we're seeing nothing left take their pumpkin camp. And on the other side, Washed Up hasn't taken theirs yet, so that's a bit of a concern.
but at least Eternal was able to push the top lane out. Could maybe even try and stop the rotation here for a second, but that's 3-man headed his way. That was very, very aggressive rotations from nothing left. A 3-man invade to make sure that they are not only getting the experience, but also the camp up at the top. You see Tracer using the ult 2 on the camp. And this is pretty much just underlining what we said before. You don't fight until you know you can win the battle. So you're not trying to poke, you're not trying to create an opportunity, you're just playing around them for the time being. So this is going to be probably a little bit more of a longer stalled out game here. At least that's what it seems like at this point. So up to the top, still seeing Eternal holding the lane for as much as he can, but obviously he can't do anything against the camps. If he's playing a 2-for-1, he can hold the experience, he can try and protect the structures, but he won't be able to do that forever. It's really coming down to level 10 for lot 2. Certainly again, the AB of course with the damage setup here. But now we're having the 2 altars appear, or the 3 altars appear on the map. The AB still with the value, and that's the reason why Junkrat is good against Hammer. You throw a quick mine out, push him away, get a couple of grenades in too. And that's more or less the setup that they are currently trying to go for. Mainly with a quick Hearthstone back to go for mana just before the altars are activating on the map. Going to try and use those. So up to the top, Eternal still fighting it out with DAB, but everybody is getting ready for the channel. And this, as more or less expected, is already a bit of a different rotation than we usually see. All of a sudden, we're having the top right invaded. Is that an interrupt? Oh, just able to interrupt it right now. 3 versus 3, mainly with the channel. Mopsio gets body blocked, but should be able to get the stun through. Nah, not quite. The channel was a little bit quicker. He was close. He's not quite able to make it happen. Down to the bottom of the map, the third is still being fought over. So far, we have only a single altar taken. Only one. So right now, with that said, having everybody is still going around here. Main is playing it extremely safe as he's hugging the wall and the towers because he knows that DAB and Mopsio are both waiting for him to overstep his boundaries a little bit. Level 7 talents are ready for both now, which means that we are again seeing the subterranean shield here. That of course gives us also the psionic projection, which is another really important talent for this. The channel comes through. Urel at the top is slightly in trouble, still able to hop away. It's a bit of damage, not too much. The top left altar is still there, and so far they're not making any plays for that whatsoever. They're not even trying to channel that. It really seems like Nothing Left is totally fine with delaying this game for quite some time. And again, if you delay, this map is in general obviously decided through the objective. Yes, you can take every single bell tower and then you start a barrage, but generally speaking, the map is decided over the objective. Meaning, if you do not take this one, it also means that the entire map is slowed down. And so you will hit the later rounds, the later talents, your 16, your 20, at a much different objective phase than you normally would. And that's exactly what Nothing Left is currently trying to do here. They're stalling this out for as much as they can. You can see it on the minimap. They make absolutely no attempt to go for it. They have all the time in the world. They're not contested by any means, but they're just saying, we're totally cool just stalling this out right now and waiting for the later stages of this match, because that's when we are going to excel. That's when our team is going to become much, much stronger. When our Tassadar is going to complete his quest, when we're going to have the quest completed on Luburak as well, when Junkrat is getting a bit more value over time. So this is currently the setup that they're having here. And this is actually a really interesting approach. I gotta admit that I haven't really seen that for a long, long time. So with that happening, I'm really curious how Washed Up reacts, because at this point they're not making any attempt for this one either. And the reason for them is a little bit simpler, because they have a harder time fighting for the top left, because it's so close to the top and the mid lane bell tower on the side of Nothing Left, and obviously also those fountains, so they can easily interrupt from a distance. Now we have level 10 in play, both of the teams with 36 points on the core, and still the play up at the top. And level 10s are there. And that gives us the taunt again. That gives us the Ring of Frost this time. But once more, the control over the top lane, thanks to the camp that DAB is able to take here. Archon over the Force Wall. And it looks like Tassadar now on level 10 is finally channeling it. He's not quite sure yet. So it's like, should I? Should I not? Maybe. I could, but I don't have to. It's like, I don't know, guys. So, yeah, they're gonna figure that out eventually. But yeah, we're starting to enter now an area where obviously this game could potentially be ended by one of the teams getting all of the bell towers if this is delayed this much. I mean, we're nearly 7 minutes in, guys, and the altar phase isn't over yet. So they are really buying time. They are really buying time right now. But that also means that you're entering this entire setup once the death timers are a lot higher. And that makes it also very, very dangerous. Look at Mena, for example. Look at the damage that he currently has on Jaina on the baseline. It's absolutely nothing. It's ridiculous how little damage he has pushed out so far. And that's for exactly the same reasons that I talked about earlier. There's no real fights happening just now. They're actually not doing anything with those fights. They're not in any setup where he can get the poke damage in. He finally got one shot connected with Tracer, and that was pretty much that. So there's very little that they can do to just get those stacks going and work towards the ice block in particular. And as I said before in the draft, they kind of want the ice block to make sure that they're actually having something to negate the bombs from Tracer. Again, the grenade coming through. They're trying to use Hammer to control the space. Mopsio sitting at the side here. There's the damage. Still not at 1,000 though. And also Tracer looking from the top here. DAB is always shirking around, looking for an opportunity to get a bit of damage in. And they're poking them down slowly and steadily. Look at this, nimble on the feet, putting a bit of damage out, starting to poke them, starting to prod them a little bit, and just softening them up for targets so that eventually DAB can make the move and go in. And maybe also Nuburak and follow that up with a stun. That's the setup that they're currently hoping for here. I can't believe that 8.5 minutes we're still having the first one in. Tracer is walking towards us like, nah, I'm just kidding. April's Fools, by the way. So yeah, there's 1,000 for Tacita. That's a quest completed a few seconds ago. And still the camps at the top. They're taking camp after camp after camp, and this bell tower is starting to seriously suffer. This is one of the reasons why Washed Up is actually looking at this and is saying, like, guys, we can't just like dance around this the entire time. We need to start applying a bit of pressure ourselves, and that's what they're currently doing here. Riptire's already coming out. They're currently going to wait for that. Yep, there's the Riptire. Comes in. They're just destroying the minion wave, just making sure that there's nobody able that they can really move in. This is a really annoying style. Nothing Left is playing a super annoying style, and the thing is, it's working. Look at the top lane. This thing is nearly dead. They nearly took down one of the bell towers. They use a Riptire to take the minion wave down and to push Washed Up back, because Washed Up is trying to push in with the minion waves, and they're just delaying, they're buying time, they're buying a little bit more time, they get more control over the top, and finally we have Hazobs in a position where he can attack the bell tower, and what happens next? Blikidney just simply throws him away. So a bit more damage here, and the minion wave is dead again. So again they have to move back, have to wait for the next minion wave and play around that too. What an annoying setup. Nuburak in the middle gets actually attacked for just a second, but it's still cool. And now, yeah, at the top we're going to see this one fall finally. So it's going to be a trade. There is a positive note for Washed Up on the other hand, something that we shouldn't forget about here, as the bell tower here gets claimed. And that positive note is that we have the bot lane controlled. Finally, Potipos is saying, okay, I'm done with this crap. So he's getting the channel through. That's 4 points for them. But keep in mind that even with those 4 points fired right now in that little exchange that we had, they lost the bot lane. That's the downside that you have with this. Bot lane is where 2 of those pumpkin camps spawn. This means that you have a lot more pressure on the core through the bot lane if that gets controlled by your opponent. We don't have a single kill in this game. Look at the damage output, by the way. And keep in mind, we're 11 minutes into this game. We're having Ana with 187 million hero damage. Jaina has 4,000. Oh god. The one with the most hero damage is obviously DAB, since he can still go in and connect those bombs every now and then. But yeah, that is definitely an interesting setup here. A really interesting setup. Sitting in the bush again. Eternal and JPL are starting to move in. Alright. There's the bomb again. Gets the damage out. Should be healed in just a moment. But yeah, it's all about the camps right now. Go for the pumpkins. Get the pumpkin, baby. Get the pumpkin. Already trying to get it. And this time they're actually going to be able to grab at least those. Slightly an experience now too for Nothing Left. And they're trying to pressure now through the bottom of the map. Now you have to be careful of Junkrat. Now in particular. Junkrat is currently at the top side, so he can't even do anything. But as long as they don't see him... Okay, now they got vision. Now they got vision topside, but Junkrat is of course the one that with the displacement can push you through. So they're gonna try and get something in here. Alright, there's the taunt already. DAB eats a lot of the damage. In comes the Cocoon. They're trying to make the play. Mane with the Ring of Frost connects it with Tyrande, and that should be at least one kill, and it is. Tassadar is still alive. Jaina down, but the Nubarak has also fallen. The Nubarak dead. They were trying to push DAB back in. Hazobs was attempting to push just between the Death Zone and Trace, and it hasn't quite worked. But now, of course, we're looking once again at the camps. Blikitny comes in, interrupts, but down to the bottom of the map there he can't really do anything. So it's very, very likely that at this point we're going to see a slight lead coming in for Washed Up, as they are making the play for the next altar. That was a nice double kill. The Ring of Frost, Mane was mostly using it because Tracer was trying to make the play, but then when everybody moved in, the Ring of Frost was actually fantastic. Just zoned them out, connected with two, and they got the kill. Couldn't take down Tassadar shortly after, but still working well around it. Now again, top lane pushed out, bottom of the map, still the defense on the bell tower, but you can see that it's already pretty low at this point. It's an interesting game, to say the least. Again, Hazov's being attacked here, but so far still fine. Another camp now taken, more pumpkins on the way through the bot lane. 32 against 28. It's a really interesting setup here. Now, Mane is pushing a lot of damage out now so that he can start to slowly and steadily walk towards the ice block, and he definitely needs it. We've seen it in the last fight. That bell tower is soon gonna fall. The problem is that the top has not taken any damage yet. That's of course a massive advantage for nothing left. It's a very methodical game that both of them play. Yeah, one pumpkin gets thrown in case that you didn't know that. JPL on Garrosh can actually throw the pumpkin into the death zone that converts into a shot. That's exactly what we just saw. So that's how they got at least one more point off the core. 27 against 32 now. That can make all the difference at the end of the game. Can make all the difference. But with a 5-man defense here at the bottom, Junkrat has the map. And he rotates in, he starts to get the experience, and someone has to take care of that too, and that's actually going to be, or it should be, Urel, but so far she's not making a move here. Mopsio is just double checking if the camp is taken, and it is taken indeed. Easily sniped, but that also means that another bell tower is starting to take damage. The one at the bot lane just got converted, and all of a sudden Washed Up is pressured on the map, and heavily at that. Not only are they behind, they have taken a little bit more damage here. They have also now 2 altars that they have to somehow take at least one if they don't want to make the aggressive play. The interrupt is there, repositioning from Smexy. It's going to be an exchange, a 1-for-1. Quite easy one at that. Shots fired, but that's of course 5 against only 3 that we're having there. And that means we are currently looking at 27 to 24. Still in favor of Washed Up, but the experience is speaking a very... The experience is very, very different here. Look at the XP at this point. 18, nearly 19 versus... they have an entire level. And now they're having the pressure at the bottom of the map. And this is exactly the play that Nothing Left wanted. They choose when to attack. They choose when to fight. They choose when to make the plays here. Very, very tactical game from them. And it works extremely well. Hazu is finally going to the top again, trying to make sure that they are reconverting the bell tower here. But they are pressured on the map, and they are heavily pressured. They're going to reclaim this. But at the same time, the bot lane is now getting pushed, and with the Nubarak, you can dive underneath it for. You have the Beetles. And it's what Mopsio is currently looking to do. He gets sniffed out by Mane, but they get the bell tower again. So again, 5 versus 3 bell towers on the map. And just look again at experience. 20? Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for that. So now they're going to grab 20. And the question is, when can Washed Up reclaim the bell tower here? Mane is still sitting at 9,500 damage. He needs, therefore, another 6k nearly until he has Ice Block. That's going to make him a bit safer in these situations. But now, as we are seeing the objective spawn, we're actually having the level 20s in. And they're making the play for the boss too. They're going straight for the boss here. And if they get both, that's 8 points off the core. And there's no reason why they shouldn't get both. Eternal is at least in the same time committing to the camp at the top. But yep, boss is going to be taken here. So that's another 4 shots fired, and all of a sudden they're ahead. They can rotate down. And there we go. 4 shots fired. If they channel the bottom, it's another 5. And Podibos is there. And that puts them down to 18. Yep, 5 fired, and that is Washed Up down to 18 against 24. They're trying to reclaim the bot lane. Not even that is possible for them. Not even that. There's the 20 now, though. So they finally have their own 20. Which means, amongst other things, that we're having now the Ultra Capacitators, but obviously the Giant Killer on level 16 is also going to be important with this. But that's going to be a great talent for them, for sure. And Mene goes for the Deep Chill. Deep Chill for him, and they're trying to make the plays at this point and control their opponent. But this is now going to get really difficult. Another setup at the bot lane, heavy control around this. Very different from the normal double support compositions with Tracer that we see. But it's working. It's absolutely working right now. 17 minutes into the game. And we have both of the teams on 20 right now. With a lead for nothing left as they're trying to claim the map. And Junkrat is still clearing those waves in the middle, sometimes even rotating topside, and is pushing the mid lane bell tower. And there is no defense at this point. They are not quite sure how to play this, and I can't blame them. Washed Up is sitting there saying, like, how do we get around this? How do we force this? How do we get that fight that we want? They might have to do it around the objective, but there's a triple altar phase right now. You channel 2, that's 10 points off the core, that pushes Washed Up down to... Washed Up? It's not quite WhatsApp, that's something different, Khaldor. Puts them down to single digits if they get that. By the way, how amazing is it that I'm back in Europe, finally now that I moved to Spain, people are using WhatsApp again? In the US, everybody is using normal text messages. Totally barbaric. Finally, you can actually have a desktop client use that, send pictures properly in other files. So much better. There's the first 5 fired from the bot lane, up to the top. Okay, the interrupt is there. The fight, on the other hand, on the top right. That's going to be an important one. If they can claim 2, that would be fantastic for nothing left. If they can't, they are in a world of trouble. Mene gets already topped up. Ponyboss says, well, I got a Psystone for you. Uses that immediately. And, well, do they get at least 1? The Owl gets soaked, but that's 5 shots fired against 3. Down to 8. Down to 21. Not over yet, but we're seeing a trend here. We only have 3 kills. Only 3 kills, by the way. And, yep, that is pretty bonkers. 3 kills, 20 minutes into Towers of Doom. I'm not sure when I saw that the last time. I honestly am not sure if I've ever seen that, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen a game on this map that went this way. Uh-oh, JPL, Indomitable being used, tries to get away, should be able to get away. Oh, the ring! And it doesn't connect, the ring of fails right there. As we have them desperately trying to push through, desperately trying to convert that bell tower back. Top lane gets pressured in the meantime. Even more bad news for them, but with level 20 versus level 20, at least now they have even talents that they can use. Hazops is trying, gets the damage against DAB, and I mean, just look at the damage output here. They're not really too bad on the numbers, at least when we look at Hazops, but outside of that, they just don't have the same wave clear. They don't really can conquer those spaces. That's their biggest problem at this point. This game is just getting a bit bonkers. Mane is trying to get into a position where he can at least drop another Blizzard onto that bell tower. But now we have the altar spawning, and this is the moment when Washed Up just has to say, okay, screw it. We're taking it now. That's exactly what they're doing. Bell tower reclaimed. And the rotation from nothing left into the middle. Trying to get another one here too. And they're just sniping it. They're like, well, I see you took back the bell tower at the bot lane. Let's take the one in the middle instead. God, is that annoying. They're absolutely cancering them right now. This is just insane. This is really annoying. They're just claiming the one in the middle. I was like, nah, I didn't like the one at the bot lane anyways. I'm going to take the one in the middle instead. So now we're having the camp taken on the left side, so that's going to apply a bit of pressure. But the one thing that Washed Up needs right now, they need kills. They honestly, they need kills. They need a setup, they need a taunt. Well, there's a double throw. They're trying to make the play, but it doesn't work yet. They need a taunt into Ring of Frost. They need something. If they can get 2-3 kills, then it's a different story. The death numbers are so high at this point that you can then definitely make the play and start to regain some of the momentum on the map, get a couple of structures. The problem is really that Washed Up is just poked down the entire time. There's so many range interrupts. The double Psystorm, Tyrande with the Owl, Tyrande with the stun, Junkrat with the damage. There's just so much that they have. that they can use to interrupt and just poke them slowly and steadily and wait for the kill. And that's exactly what we're currently seeing from them here. And behind all of this, Smexy. Pew! 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 Trying to get the heals in. Yeah, throw him straight on the hammer. They have the damage at least. Nopsio's suffering a little bit. But is it going to be enough to give you anything? They got the channel. They got at least that. That's 3 shots fired. 18 to 8 now. But it also takes the hot zone away from the map. So how do you play this now? You're going to go into the middle? Alright, reclaim. 4 versus 4. Now we're talking. They're able to at least reclaim the middle. Is Washed Up able to win this? This is the big one at this point. I would be so annoyed at this point. I would probably just like YOLO it, give up, and say like, okay, go next. Let's screw this. We need more heroes that can actually force. But no, they are trying obviously to win this too. And they are getting the bottom bell tower. Washed Up with all the patience that they have is all of a sudden starting to get some momentum here. They are still heavily behind when it comes to points on the core, but they are starting to also gain a little bit more of a foothold on this map. So once again, can they throw that in? Nope, not quite. Garrosh was trying to make the distance to get that done, but hasn't happened yet. Boss is also up again on the map. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, the ring! Nice idea by Mena, but didn't work out. It was a big risk and a big cooldown. And it didn't work out. If that connects, they might be able to get the kill, but Washed Up the entire game already had problems forcing these fights that they won. There's a single altar appearing on the map again. They are the ones now holding onto 5 of the bell towers. If they can get that, that would be worth it already. A set of damage being pushed out. Melen nearly completing his baseline finally. If he can do that, he's at least a little bit safer. Good damage output again. Hazops is just now starting to resort on dropping the cooldown pretty much every time he's ready. And Eternal is attempting to jump behind someone to push him in, but it hasn't really happened yet. And he needs just a tiny little bit of damage here. And then he has his ice block finally. Once again, cam taken. That's 3 shots if they go through. Well, we start to make the play here. Alright, Cocoon is in. Cocoon is in. Gets slowly taken down here. And they go for Mena. Riptire. And it's not enough. JPL. Oh, JPL. Oh, Ana down. And so is JPL. Both of them dead. Mena now getting obliterated too. The ice block keeps him alive for a few more seconds, but it's not going to change the inevitable. And now we're having rough times here. 2 shots fired against the core of nothing left. Eternal and Hazops are trying to survive here. DAB is already looking to go back in, and they're already attempting to reclaim the bell tower now too. If they get this one, I mean, even if they just go to the boss, Hazops is dead, and this is game. This has to be game. This is definitely game. I mean, they're trying to convert the bell towers and just winning through that, but they don't even need to be honest. That's 4 versus 4. If you go and channel and then you go boss, that's all that you gotta do. And Urel herself is already on the run, but guess who's here? Blake Kidney, and he has a present for you. Bam, grenade to the face. Boss has already started, and nothing left is going to take the lead in the series, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to take the lead now. 4 shots is exactly what they need. They're going to get them. Very, very tactical game by them. Pretty impressive, to be honest. Maybe not the most explosive game, but definitely a bit of a highlight, just of a different kind, as nothing left takes the lead in the best of 5 series with a 2-1 and a victory on Towers of Doom. Game number 4. Nothing left is pretty annoying. I'm pretty sure that's what Washed Up is thinking right now. That so far worked out really well for Nothing Left. That last game was super annoying. It was pretty much, hey, if you pick Hammer, we show you what's really annoying. And then they just played around them the entire game. Must have been an extremely frustrating experience for Washed Up. But Nothing Left, they have the lead now in this. Keep in mind that both of these teams have played 2 matches in Division S so far, and both of them won one of their respective matches and lost the other. So whoever wins this one is going to take the 2-1 lead and therefore also the better position in the standings. Tracer gets banned out. It's Battlefield of Eternity after all, and it's the map choice of Nothing Left. They reply with Hanzo, but you know what that means? There is a chance Maiev and or Zeratul are going to make it through. I would say there's probably an or in there. Let's see if they ban both. That's the biggest question. Ban out my F. Hope they don't ban Zeratul. Yep, that's pretty much what we're seeing. Ban my F, and let's see, is Zeratul actually going to be banned out? No, Alarak. Alright, they remember what Mena did to them on Volskaya Foundry, and they're saying like, that ain't happening again. This is a bit too much for us to handle. So, what brings us... What's going to be the first pick? It should be Tirana, right? Yeah, Tirana first pick. Okay. So, Tirana banned out. Picked. First pick. Nice for the pressure against the Immortal. And then again, nothing left with the first double pick here. So for them, you first of all you have to decide, do you want to play the Nuborok route, yes or no? If you want to do that, it changes the setup a little bit. Outside of it though, you are still looking at Jaina, because still Jaina, Li Ming, two great heroes here. And there's a Nuborak and Li Ming taken. Okay, so they decide in favor of the Nuborak part. They pick Li Ming with it for DAB. Also take Li Ming away from Washed Up so that we don't have any kind of setup where that can burn down the Cocoon too quickly. You can expect an Ana ban happening now from Washed Up once that we are entering the ban phase. And with the next double pick coming in, could still be a Jaina setup if you're going into the burst damage here, if you're trying to make that play. Oh, double support Vala. Okay, different setup here. JPL actually played Vala the other day in a game in a series where they were ahead and they tried to play that. I'm wondering if they do that again today or if they're switching the heroes around later on. I wouldn't put it past them. They're memey enough to actually pull it off at this point. But yeah, it should be an Ana ban from Washed Up. Nothing left. What are they gonna ban though? Urel? Uther! Okay, they don't want to go for the double support or triple support frontline Uther play. The tank Uther play here. I assume that now Ana is going to be banned out so that Li Ming doesn't get the Nana boost. Which would be a problem, to say the least. Or are you targeting something else? I mean, there's Malfurion too. Malfurion and Ana, both quite strong with the setup, but it's Ana that gets banned out. It's more so about Li Ming, not so much about the Nuborak and the follow-up that you get there. Which brings us, very likely, into Malfurion pick. Could be Rhaegar. Rhaegar, Malfurion are the two that we're currently looking at. Additional damage. Maybe Jimmy. Could be him. Unless, of course, you want to hammer it now. Show them how it's done, pretty much. There's Urel, taking it away from Eternal. And Karazim, very dive heavy. And Nuborak, Urel, and Karazim all jumping in. Li Ming maybe even with a Calamity joining the group. So, yep. With that, we're now having our last two picks on the side of Washed Up. And what's it gonna be? We're gonna find out soon if they're actually switching the heroes around or if they're making that play. There's ETC. And what's the last one? Zeratul for Mena. Okay. That is an interesting setup. Zeratul for Mena. ETC. For Eternal, probably. I can totally see that. And JPL going back to the roots when he was like old school damage. And that leaves us with our last pick, and that's Kidney. Who's gonna be on the second damage? What hero is it gonna be? As we're heading into our fourth game. Potentially the last map of this one. Battlefield of Eternity. Greymane! All the damage, all the jumps, all the aggression, all the mobility. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, Battlefield of Eternity, map number 4 here at Division S. Game number 4, potentially the last map in the series. Podyboss playing Urel with Zadun and Karazim. Mopsy on the Nuborak for nothing left here in Battlefield of Eternity. DAB on Li Ming and Kidney on Greymane. And with that, we have a very, very mobile and aggressive lineup, as you can tell right now. I mean, every single one of these heroes has a gap closer and a jump that they can use if they want to collapse onto a target. On the right side of the map, we're seeing Washed Up, and they switched things around a little bit. They actually did that in the past already once. And we have Smexy now on Tyrande, JPL playing the old school damage with Vala, so double support Vala composition with Hazops and Tacita. And we have Eternal on pretty much the tank when you're trying to play Vala, and a tank that also is very solid on this map because you can be more aggressive around the stun circles, and that's ETC. Mene playing Zeratul. It is a wild setup for sure. Squishy wanted that too, but the question still remains, how much can they do with this? Big trap at the top. Big one. They're already starting to show. And yep, there's the little sniff out. So at least this time, there's nothing that gets taken out there. Keep in mind, this comp can actually dive structures. Don't forget that. This comp can dive structures pretty aggressively. Because you can just move in with an Uberak, spawn a couple of beetles, especially of course with your level 1 talent, the Legion of Beetles here, in addition to that. And then Greymane can murder those turrets. So whenever there is a chance for one of these quick rotations, nothing left is likely to make it and just take down a fort, take down a couple of structures here and there. And we're already seeing them even up at the top lane with 3. And yeah, they obliterate the wave. And now we're seeing that even without an Uberak, they're already moving in, trying to burn that down. There's a power slide, there's a shield too. But yeah, they're getting massive damage in. Tassadar is trying to move away. Tassadar might fall. And Taz, oh, the shield is there. But yeah, this is going to be a spicy game. Nothing left seems to have decided that they don't want to fight today. Oh, well, they might have to fight now. Oh, Mene! Oh, the blink! Where's the cooldown first? And yep, that's the end of Mopsio. Down he goes. And Nuburak is dead. But yeah, so far we're actually... I mean, again, Nothing Left has an insane amount of damage when they are going on a single target. So it's not like they're going to try and play around their opponent. But they definitely have the potential to do that. And it is a great setup if you actually want to every now and then rotate away from a Punisher, rotate somewhere else, get the damage in, and then raise down structures. So, especially against the core, for example, later on, that's also going to be a bit of an issue. Even if you're far ahead, if you lose a late game team fight, there's always a chance that Nothing Left can try and go core. So you need to be careful with that. Good slide. Getting a little bit closer, but look at the aggression. I mean, look at the aggression against structures here. One tower down, gate halfway down, camp taken. They are heavily aggressive with this. That one kill against the Nuburak barely set them back here. And now we're having the level 4s. And with that we are seeing also, again, the extra armor from Tassadar. Again, like the choice a lot. We're playing with Tracer, it's a bit of a different story. With Vala on the other hand, especially with the lineup they're playing, makes a lot of sense to go for the extra armor. And of course now the Immortal is also spawning, both of the teams going straight for the Shaman camps. And we're going to see JPL attempt to get a few more stacks together for his level 4. Trying to get that damage as quickly as he can. Mene is sitting there, fully invisible, gets some damage in, and yeah, sees a Nuburak, and here we have the exact play again. Exactly what I talked about earlier. You dive in, you soak the shots, one tower down, Greymane comes in, the AB gets a little bit of damage done, Zadoon with the damage, and boom, the wall is gone. Zip! And it's gone. It was there a second ago, and now it's gone. And that's going to be the name of the game. Whenever they see a rotation like this, whenever they have a chance, they're going to make exactly that move. They're going to take down a structure, they're going to take it down half health, might go for a keep here. They are hyper aggressive around this right now, and for very good reason. Greymane alone is fantastic. I mean, you just look up to the top and you see that Greymane solo is currently doing a lot of damage on that Immortal too. Whereas down here to the bottom, Hazops, of course, is still trying to get some damage in. Still has to be careful. Dimensional shifts away here and towards the rest of the team. But they are poking. Everybody is starting to poke here. And defending at the same time. Mene, again, with some extra damage against DAB. That was already good enough. Barely gets fast pony boss. Yeah, needs to be careful there. Once that the blink is on cooldown, you might have a problem. Okay. Mene can make the play for the Immortal at the bottom, if he chooses to do so. Mopsy here is already low. Has the power slide at some extra damage. Manages to dodge the stun though. As Mene has put some damage down onto the board here at the bottom. 3 stacks so far for Hazops, by the way. Yeah, and Mene gets jumped now. Moves out though. Jesus, that game. I mean, seriously, the tension at this point, you just have everybody moving around trying to get a quick hit against the Immortal. You're 1 second late on any of the objectives or any of the rotations, and you lose a couple of heroes or you lose the objective itself. And they're already rotating in again, burning the wave down, getting the experience, the level 7, they have access to the fort. Mena goes in, snipes a little bit, goes out. This is on razor's edge, to be honest. There's the halftime show, and it's nearly even as we're having that little fight here in the middle. Once again, Inferno needs to be careful here. First stun comes out. Here comes the damage output. They're getting it. The stun from Turan. They're trying to keep JPL alive, but they goes down. And it's Inferno, obviously. JPL still gets a couple of stacks together. Has also... Ooh, yeah, dodges that, but gets the damage in from the last one. There's another hit. 5 stacks by now on him. Tries to get a second one. Okay, good damage output against the Immortal. Can they win it, though? That's a different question. Good stuns from Smexy. Mena low, though. Mena low doesn't really have to retreat anymore. More damage from JPL as he is starting to drop low in mana. And the Immortal gets one by the kidney. He takes it down. First Immortal in the hands of nothing left. Looking strong here once more. Level 7 talents, by the way. Karazim hasn't even taken his. And now we're having... Besides that, also the Echo Paddle, a bit more wave clear here for them. At the bottom of the map, Zeratul needs to be careful against Urel. And look at this. This is, again, the setup where they're not even pushing with the Immortal, because they're saying, why would we? Look at our power level here around those structures. They're jumping in, and this is exactly the setup that we said earlier. Immortal pushes top lane, they go for the structures. They got Greymane, Karazim, they got a Nubarak to spawn a bit of additional beetles, and they take an easy fort at the bottom of the map, up to the top. Guess what? They are nearly taking this one too, and you know why? Because they dropped the entire wall earlier. There was no wall left. There was nothing to stop that Immortal. And they get both. One objective with that lineup and the way they've been rotating with the strategy that they're using here. And they have taken down both of the forts on the map. Washed Up is ahead in XP, but not for long. The passive experience increase that we're now going to see from Nothing Left is going to make a big difference here in the long run. And they know that too. It is tricky. JPL still attempting to get a few more stacks together. Has 7, has 8. He's really working it, even committing the vault there. And the repeating arrow. But they are in a bit of pain. Now, granted, it's easier to take down these forts than committing to the keep. So this entire setup around Greymane and Karazim is not going to be moving towards a keep as easily as it does towards a fort. Those forts are pretty close to the middle, the keeps are a lot farther away, you telegraph way more what you're trying to do and allow your opponent to react, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. So Tassadar also trying to get his damage in now. Mopsio even with a dive onto the Shaman camp. Not able to get this one. First quest is already completed, or quest reward is coming in for Hazorps, but obviously he wants the 16 and he wants the full completion with 1,000. So that he's able to get that extra damage out. Talking damage, Podibos is eating a bit of that. It's not enough to really put him into trouble, though. Li Ming is still at the top. And now with the Immortal spawning in 18, they had to make the rotation over. And that's exactly what they're doing. Nothing left. They forced the hands of Washed Up earlier. But with level 10 abilities, things are changing quickly. And that's where, again, our Mosh Pit is a huge factor, where the Void Prison's a huge one too. So this is one of those things where the 10s really change a lot. And this time, you know, in the last map, they had problems forcing the engagement on their terms. This time, they have a lot of tools that can do that. And they're going to try and use those tools. Alright, all about taking down that Shaman. That's the first thing that happens. Greymane, as you can see on the minimap, is already at the top. Trying to push that out again, playing that game a little bit once more. Has the slide. Yeah, Zeratul needs to be very careful that he doesn't get stunned by the Immortal. Cocoon is on the ground. They're trying to burn that. JPL still alive. They're making the play for Mena. Nice. Void Prison saves him for the time being. And the kill against Greymane. Archon in play now too. And with Greymane down, all of a sudden we're seeing Nothing Left starting to lose ground here. Mopsio low and barely able to get away from that engage. Here nearly a fill too. Well, the top lane is still a bit of a pressure point that has to be dealt with, but at least they have now a shot at that Immortal. And with 11 stacks, we're seeing Vala starting to do some serious damage on this too. So yeah, Tassadar is already back, and Vala's doing her thing. Arrow in, wall through, repeating arrow kicks in, get the second one in, and just pew 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 all day long. But Greymane is back. Greymane is back, and that forces the fight again. Top lane has been defeated. Halftime show surely going to be taken in a second. And that gives them a decent spot. We're likely going to tap soon. JPL is running a little bit low on mana. Yeah, I can't run into the middle here. That's the one that you have to be a little bit careful about. Not with the Nubarak being this far ahead. A tiny experience lead that we still have. Those kills pretty much came in handy for sure. And they're going in again. Main at the bot lane is giving them a lot of XP thanks to those minions that he's taking the entire time. The rotation works. The 16 is going to be an important one, obviously. Pody Boss eats some damage. Greymane comes in. The stun setup. Oh, Greymane survives for now. The 7-sided against Eternal. They're chasing him down. The Cocoon actually saved Greymane in the last encounter. And now Tyrande is dead. The perfect setup for the rest of the team. And they get a triple kill. Nothing left. Jumping in and just obliterating them here. 3 down, and that is an easy Immortal once again. The aggression is there, and with a great engage from Mopsio on the Nubarak and the quick Cocoon, they were without a problem able to just snipe all of them. The Cocoon in particular is saving Blikidney first of all, and then more or less pinning a bullseye onto the next target right away. Now we have another Immortal coming down, just crushing it here. And with a level and talent advantage, they can now move through the top lane and see if they can maybe even get that keep. Now they have to be careful. There is still a mosh pit in play. So if that mosh pit is not given the respect that it deserves, then that can ruin your day. One good mosh pit, Zeratul and Vala moving in with everything that they have, and you are getting wrecked. But it is a setup where if you get access to the keep, all of a sudden you're talking massive amounts of damage. And look at Hazu. Hazu actually is starting to really get the numbers in on his baseline. So with 1,000 it gets a bit more damage. The nullification is also fantastic on 13 for now. And especially 16 is going to be out of the world for them. I mean, it's going to be fantastic with the Void Slash alone, but then on top of that you have also Vala with more control through a Frost Shot, unless you want to go for the added auto attacks. And they burn this one down. I mean, look how quickly that Immortal fell. That Immortal, it was there and then it wasn't anymore. So 16s, that is a big, big spike for Washed Up. They scale way harder into the 16 than nothing left. For both of the teams, it's of course a huge power spike, but I really think that Washed Up is making a massive leap once they have that talent. And that will be interesting to observe. Void Slash coming in, Tassadar with the double through the Psionic Echo, and then of course Vala herself. And all of the talents here are actually working if you really want to work that damage in. I mean, you can go for the Frost Shot, you can try and control them a little bit more through the AoE, get those slows in, control the engage, or you can just make the play around the auto attacks. Mopsio is tempted. Mopsio is tempted to go for the Cocoon. Would be a 5 versus 5, and there they go. They move in immediately. Hazu moving away. 7-sided. Cocoon, Mena, Void Prison. They're trying to go for ATC, but they can't just yet. 3 in it. Archon damage against Urel. Pody Boss is low. They're trying to make the play for Greymane again. Blikidney, the stun. Oh, and the kill. Nice. Greymane down. Bit of a chaotic fight here, pretty hectic too. Main under a lot of pressure, but delivering with a Void Prison and trapping 3. And then they get the kill, and now they have the control here again. Trying to get the experience, of course, too, for level 16. Keep in mind, they're still slightly behind. For the time being, there's a massive wave top lane. That's pretty much a double experience wave that they can get here. Already trying to zone at the side a little bit. 10 seconds until the Greymane is going to be back. But you need the XP right now. They need the XP. They're trying to win the halftime show before Greymane is here, and that's a good approach too. 1 stack away from Vala from getting her own. And yep, there they have it. Alright, they get the halftime show. They win it right now. And now it's time for the XP. Get the top side. Oh, boy, that's good for nothing left. Look at this. It's a small window, but it's there. And it's an important window too. Yeah. The slash at the bot lane. The AB and his boys, they might just win this one. Simply off the back of the level 16 talent. And they have it in a second now. Yeah, they're going in, and there's... Look at this. Washed Up is looking at this and they're saying, like, guys, we can't. We just can't. They're trying to see if there's maybe an opportunity to get a quick kill here, but it's really tricky. There's no 16, there's the 7-sided, and Eternal is down. The Cocoon on Vala, and now she's most likely going to fall too. Again, the play attempt here by Mena. Void Prison is good, but the problem is it still traps Tyrande. Yeah, another slash though. Blikidney nearly has fallen. Damn, son, they're really putting the work in. Look at JPL, holy shit. 16 is ready for nothing left, but they are all bruised and battered as we are actually seeing Washed Up chasing them across the map, but they cannot get the kill. But they nearly got it. Wow. And now we have, at this point in time, we're actually having the 16. But holy cow. First of all, they didn't lose a second hero. And then they nearly got kills themselves. That was quite something. Again, there's the slash. And he's trying to make the play for Zeratul, and Zeratul goes down. So goes Tazada, though. Tazada down, Zeratul as well, and JPL is on a run. Go, cowgirl, go. You go, and well, she goes down. And so does Tyrande. Bot lane pressure once again. Mena still with a big boy plays here, but it's not enough to turn this around, and ETC wasn't with them at this point. And now the bot lane is in trouble. And keep in mind, Greymane. Greymane, Greymane, Greymane. Void Slash on the other hand. Mena. We're talking a lot about Greymane. Let's talk a little bit about Mena. The man with the XXL plays. He's trying to go for the XXL, and they're trying to go for the core here. They're trying to go for the core, yeah, and Greymane is all of a sudden in trouble. And with trouble, I mean Greymane is dead, but Mena is... Oh, the mosh pit saving his ass. Eternal with the mosh pit saving Mena as Zeratul was about to fall, but the core is still suffering damage, and it's a lot. And Uberak is down 50%. Liming is dead, and they're going to... Oh, they're VPing it. The VP, the Immortal is down. Only Urel is there. 20, the massive stuns. The ult, 24, the shield. And that's 20% on the core as Urel dies. But they have taken it for now. 20% on the core. But what do you do with it? What do you do now? Where's the play? What's the next move? They need to try and go for structures, and that's what they're trying to do, but how do you turn this around? They have the big level 16 talents. If they would have had it 10 seconds earlier at the Immortal fight, they would have probably claimed the Immortal, but they didn't. And now their core is down to 20%, and it's down to 20% against a Karazim and Greymane setup. And they're trying to get the experience at the bot lane. The only thing that Washed Up can do right now is try and control vision. Try and take down as much as you can. Attempt to get level 20 before your opponent does. Maybe stagger a couple of dashes there. Keep the pressure up. Try and keep that pressure. And they're pressuring the bot lane right now. They open it up at least. And they're starting to slowly get ahead. Slightly in experience. Look at the ETC positioning on the minimap. Look at ETC. They're thinking about diving it. They know that at some point they have to do something. They are pressuring this heavily. Even if you only get the fort itself, it would be a relief already. So far that hasn't happened. So far that hasn't happened. 16, by the way, the way of 100 fists. Haven't really talked about it yet. Oftentimes it's a cleansing touch that you see here. But obviously a bit of a different setup right now. And they have to be aggressive. They know it. They need to do something. They can't just simply sit tight the entire time and let this push. Once that there's catapults on the core, the game's over. They have to take weird fights, big risks now. It's not so much about the Immortal anymore, it's about the team fights. And they have the 16. Oh my god! Get wrecked, kid. And Nubarak gets absolutely destroyed. Oh my god. There was nothing that he could do. Absolutely nothing. He was there and then he died within a second. That wasn't even a second. Yeah, Immortal gets still attacked here. JPL waits for the cooldown a little bit farther back. And they win the halftime show for now. They have to win this Immortal. They can't lose it. Look at the top lane, by the way. Ooh, the XP. JPL, he was trying to go for mana, but he can't. He can't. They're going for it. They have to burn it. They have to burn it down. There's the defense. Yep. They're burning this one easily. And now it's about vision. Is someone sneaking towards the core? Is that happening? And look at the top lane. Again, this one is falling. They're losing their top keep. Oh my god. Do they have to actually try and end with this one? Top keep is... They can save it. They can save it. Eternal can save it. Yep. Boop it, baby. And he does. Alright, they save the top keep. But that means easy free defense on the Immortal itself. Guys, this game is getting nuts. This game is getting a bit crazy. It's a big shield, actually. They're trying to make the play now. There's already a... Oh! Tazada! Hazu ops! Hazu goes down! Everything put on Hazu and he falls. Main is trying to get the kill against Boss. but he can't get it. The Immortal pushes through the bot lane, but with Tassadar dead, how do they play this now? Do they still go for it? That's the 4th down at least. If they can get a keep somehow, just zoning, that would be the dream. Oh my god, DAB. Oh, the mosh pit! Oh, what the interrupt. Mane with the damage still against DAB, but it's not enough. Oh my god, he prisons it. He void prisons it. They're thinking about it. They're thinking about buying time. But Mane, oh my god, it's so close. And the Immortal is pushing through the bottom of the map. I don't think it can get the keep, can it? They're moving away right now. Tassadar is not back yet. Yeah, they should be able to push this out. Oh, oh, the commitments here. Not necessarily about to get the kill against Li Ming. I mean, if he gets it, that's of course fantastic. But even if he just slows them down, that's already worth a lot. Simply because they are able to get more damage from the Immortal itself. And granted, it hasn't worked out to get the key, but they are still in a spot where they can still fight. They have to always control the bot lane right now. Bot lane has to be controlled. First of all, because of the minions themselves, but that's not the only reason. If the bot lane pushes out, it means you lose bot lane vision. And once you lost bot lane vision completely, your opponent can backdoor you. A lot easier than if they have to dance around the vision somewhere else. I mean, granted, you have at least Tyrande. That helps you. Helps you a lot, actually. Whew. What a game. What a game. Oh, God. Zeratul hasn't died yet, by the way. Mane has not died in this game. Seriously, Mane, he definitely ate his oatmeal today. First, the Alarak performance on Volskaya. Now his Zeratul plays here. 9 kills against 9, dead even on that. Mane with 44,000 damage. Look at his siege damage alone. 147,000 damage. Any specialist would be proud. Top lane. That takes a bit of damage. We're 22 minutes in, by the way. We're 22 minutes into this game. And another Immortal is spawning now. Okay. This is getting very nasty. As of course has also the Oracle that he can use. Yeah, it's all about the engage right now. Mane again. There's the ping. They're starting to go for it. Alright. Moving past. There's a slash. There's the Void Prison. Li Ming. And who are they going for? They're trying to make the play here. ETC with a slide. Ooh, the slide. The kill. Greymane is down. The 7-sided saves the dude for a second. What a stun setup. Kharazim is dead. And they have the double kill. And they go for the bug. They go for the bug. And the bug has been fixed. Immediately DAB is going to the bot lane. Urel as well. They have to end the game right now. They have to end the game. Vision is there and they are moving back. They have to move back. Zeratul is already back. Halftime show has just been won. Twilight Archon. They're all dancing around here. Urel has moved back for the fence. So has DAB. They bought a little bit of time and that's all they can do right now. They're buying time. What a setup. What a setup by Mane. The early Void Prison against 2 and then Eternal with the ETC plays. Darting in and saving the day for the team with a perfect stun follow-up from Smexy. Oh my god. What a play there again. And that's the big boy Immortal right there. 100% shields. 23 minutes into the game. And Hazelops isn't losing that Twilight Archon anytime soon. I mean, just look at him. He's murdering it right now. And they are backdooring. They are backdooring. And 10 seconds until the Void Prison is going to be back. And look at it. They already spotted it. They know it's coming. They know it's coming. And Nuburak is the only one here. Hazelops is already about to move back. Yep, they're stopping it early. They're trying to stop it early. Cocoon got actually dodged. Cocoon got dodged. He currently just phase shifted the Cocoon. There's 2 at the bottom. Void Prison can be used. Mane can't die. Mane can't die. He uses the Void Prison against 2. Immortal at the top lane is there, and they're all moving back. They're all moving back. Oh my god, the Beatles actually nipped on him. The Beatles nipped on him. Hazu makes it back though. He needs the shield. They're getting the shield. Greymane is dead. That's the target. Greymane down. 7-sided. The core. The core. 18, 17, 14, 10 shields. 8, 6, 5. Oh, and it's over. Nothing left. Wins the game with a 3-1 victory. GG.